Alright, this is my first video with my new little portable video camera. I bought this so that I can take videos for my hobby website and have something handy so I can capture some more video of my children. I don't have enough of my son, I don't think, and I need more of my daughter too. Okay, I think that what I'm going to do here is tell a story about my dad, because I get a lot of people who ask me to tell more Gary Halbert stories. So the one I'm going to tell is one of my favorites. So if you know me pretty well, I've probably told you this, but this is one I'm going to share with everyone. And I'm going to tell you the story of Gary Halbert and his pink Cadillac. Okay, well, to start off with, I think that every good marketer has some sort of jadedness so that they don't, because if you're good, you can't have naive optimism in business. But at the same time, you have to be somewhat of an optimist, because you have to, to move forward and to get things done. And so I think that what that really does is translate to giving people kind of a jaded and sick sense of humor that allows them to figure out things like, hey, let's sell pet rocks. We could just stick these little eyeball thingies on rocks and sell them and so forth. And in any case, so I think you'll note that a lot of the really top marketers have a very sick sense of humor. And not necessarily sick like dark, but just kind of twisted. And one of the things about my father is he liked to get reactions out of people, and strangers all the time, and he loved things that did that. And one time he was told that his car needed to be repainted because it was looking pretty shabby, and so he went down to the auto body shop to get it painted, and they handed him a color book. They said, decide which color you want. And so he's looking through it, and when he spotted what he thought was a really great coral color, is what he called it. I call it pink. He called it coral. But he loved this color. And actually at the beginning, I don't think he loved it nearly as much as he liked the fact that the guy who said, "Are you sure you really want to paint your car this color?" And I think that probably helped sell my father on the idea that he should probably do it, because if everybody says it's, shocking or something, it would probably be more fun. Anyway, so he goes ahead and he has this big four-door Fleetwood, or it had to be an Eldorado Cadillac, painted in this coral color. And he drove it around, and he'd get all these reactions from people, most of it all negative. To give you an example, but he loved the color so much. I'm going to jump ahead and tell you that he loved the color so much, he painted everything that color. He painted his Cadillac that color. He painted a houseboat that color. He painted his little boat, the Way Cool, that color. He painted a Rolls Royce that color. He painted everything. In fact, he called it the proper color. He'd say if he saw a great boat or a great house or a car or anything he bought, he'd say it was great, except Bond, it's not the proper color. And his last car was a Toyota Camry. He got that because he had heard how reliable and great they were, and went out immediately, had it painted that color. Okay, in fact, I'm going to show you a picture of his Rolls Royce painted that color now. So if you get a little seasick in the flip here, pardon me. Okay, that's Gary sitting on his pink Rolls Royce. Now he calls it coral, I call it pink. Anyway, but that's the color that we're talking about. Now the story I'm going to tell you about is more about his Cadillac than it is about his Rolls Royce, or just even the color. Okay. Oh, almost lost you. So, now, so the pink Cadillac, he gets this Cadillac painted pink, he comes back home with it, and everybody's kind of, I can't believe you did this. And I'm probably the least shocked, because I grew up with this man, and there was no surprising me at this point. But yeah, even I was a little taken aback, like, oh my God. And I said, I said, Dad, what'd you do here? He says, it's beautiful color. And I said, are you kidding me? He said, what can you tell? You're colorblind. And I told him, well, I may be colorblind, but I can see ugly. And in any case, so we all had a lot of fun with this car, because it was a talk of the town. We were living in the Keys at the time. And the Keys is a small community. And here's this guy driving, actually family, driving around in this coral-colored Cadillac. And at the time, his girlfriend had 2 children, and they used to hide down below the back seat, so when they get dropped off at school, because they did not want to be seen in that car. And it was a lot of fun. But another thing that's interesting about my father is he always had other people drive. If you were in the car with him and you were driving, he would ask you to drive. And he liked to take driving trips to clear his head by himself and drive for long distances and just end up in another state and get a hotel room. In fact, we had done that a couple times when I was a kid. In any case, so what this means is that you, if you were with them, were driving a coral-colored Cadillac, pink Cadillac. Anyway, so if you were driving around, everybody would start giving you these strange looks. And I, would just immediately, my dad would be right in the seat next to me and say, "Don't look at me." He picked the color. And my dad would just kind of like roll his eyes. And, we'd have a good chuckle at his expense. And this went on for a long time. I mean, he had the car for a long time. And so many times we'd be driving and, people would just go, "Oh," and it was usually when we were stopped at a gas station or getting in or out of the car that you'd interact with these people. But again, my dad loved it because he said, and he'd even say, "You know what I love about this car? You either love it or you hate it. It's, it's not passionless." And one of the real reasons he did this is because my dad would easily forget where his car was or what it looked like in large parking lots. And so this obviously made it easier. And I think it's also a good anti-theft protection device. But in any case, so we pull into a gas station one time, and this really good-looking girl comes up, and and I'm pumping gas to put to fill it up. My dad's sitting in the passenger seat as usual, and she comes up and she goes, "Man, I just love the color of that car." And I looked up to her and I said, "Thanks, picked it out myself." And I looked over at my dad, and he had this expression on his face that said like three things at once. It said, "That's my boy, good burn," and "You son of a bitch." And it was just a classic Halbert moment. And that was, that is right out of his playbook. And it was just one of my favorite moments because it was good-natured ribbing. It was a lot of fun. It was payback for making me drive this pink Cadillac around this small town for months. Which wasn't really that big of a deal. I did it. But it was just one of those family moments that kind of helped define the unique nature of the sense of humor that went on when you lived with Gary Halbert in your life. In any case, at the end of this video, what I would like to do is offer and ask anybody who has good Gary Halbert stories to send them in to us. We're actually going to start posting a few more stories about him, and if you knew him, he was such a character. If you knew him, if you even met him once, you have a story to tell about him. And we are going to go around whenever I meet up with other people like, Joe Polish or John Carlton or, Dave Kekich and other people. I'm set to go see and interview, and one of the things I'm interviewing them with is tell me some of your interesting Gary stories. But I know there's a lot of you out there. And so any of you who happen to have a little handy or web video cam or something like that want to shoot a quick video and send it to us. And actually, if you send it like on a digital video cassette or something like that, maybe we can get Kevin to go ahead and do the labor and transcribe it and put it up on the site. But I think what we want to do is start sharing a lot of these videos or stories with people. We can do it with video, and also don't forget, write it up, do it in audio if you want or anything. I'll try and throw in some more stories from now on. Now that I got this little camera and get a little bit less camera shy. In any case, so this is KBOND signing off, and talk to you all later.